Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Tower Challenge in Week 3. My name is JK Brain Matthews. I'm joined by Saga and Orcs. I'm not doing the full bloody names. Let's get going.
They're down there if you're interested, but you're probably not.
Who are you?
I don't even remember.
It's the same with Chronicler, right? Like, I just couldn't say his name.
No one can say Chronicler's name.
Not even Chronicler can say Chronicler's name.
No, I think he's making it up every time he says it.
And Darius.
Darius.
Could be. Good cosplay. Maybe at the finals.
You think?
You could carry a
sorry,
hefty axe around.
I actually thought you were really quiet in my ear, and I thought you went, he's Darius. I was like, what are you on about? It's not Darius. That was really weird. Anyway, this matchup is going to be good because this happened 3 times in a row.
Yeah, I've
and
never
every
seen
time
this
it's
before.
been good.
It's been hypey, it's been a back and forth. If history repeats itself, it should be XL beating Fnatic and upsetting them again. But we never know, especially when a spanner has been thrown in the works, and that is the addition of Ronaldo to Fnatic's roster.
But that being said, if history repeats itself, it could be XL beating Fnatic as well, because both of these guys have taken games off the others in this exact situation. So they're no strangers on either side to this top-tier competitive level in the UK scene.
Just throwing it out there. I can break double digits at this point. All you can do is catch up with me. You actually also break double digits. Are we tied?
Yeah, we're both on 9.
I can't remember. We actually have our MVP for the last game before we get going. So let's have a little look at that because I missed the name in my ear. So there we go. Yeah, it's special. I mean, to be fair, how could it not be special? I mean, he had the sexiest kill participation there.
I know how it could not be special if teams ban Aurelia. In fairness, he is good in other champions, but I mean, he just looked monstrous.
Yeah, the guy was looking absolutely insane. But now we have to move on. It's a clean slate. XL coming off a high off a really good win there. Now are going to be going through into the Tower Challenge versus Fnatic Rising for the 3rd week in a row. Every time the challenging team has won, can Fnatic hold on? Because they need to. If they don't hold on, XL will just slingshot ahead again. Another 3 points ahead of Fnatic. And this gap will continue to grow in just a really horrible way for Fnatic, and they're going to be playing catch-up all season.
And it's the fact that no one has actually successfully held on to the tower so far this split. This is the first chance that anyone actually has to do that in the Fnatic Rising squad, to be the ones who get the return championship, the title for 2 weeks straight. That being the first to be able to do that, especially when you have that sort of wild card in the mid lane as well thrown in for them, would definitely be a boost to their confidence.
Yeah, and I did speak to Prosper before today's matches and asked him what he thought of Ronaldo. They have been scrimming with him. There have been some rough sort of teething issues introducing a new member to the team. But he has said comparison to Magi Felix is he likes a lot more aggressive picks and he will play very aggressively. So this may be something that catches Special off guard, because we saw in that previous game, Chibs did manage to take him down 2 times before he started to pop off, so maybe something similar could happen here.
I mean, but Special has unshakable mental, is what we're seeing. After getting those two ganks that camp him, it hasn't seemed to cost him too much. But let's have a little look at our starting roster on the blue side. The Tower Challengers themselves, XL UK. In the top lane is going to be Sendo, Taxer in the jungle, Special in the mid, Hyun and ADC, and Kasing support.
And up against them, looking to defend their title in week 3, it's Fnatic Rising with Shikari in the top lane, NG in the jungle, Ronaldo in mid, Xmati and Prosper in the bottom lane.
I didn't realize Ronaldo was the Facebook profile picture default
No,
guy.
it's actually because they haven't unlocked him yet.
Oh,
so it's
DLC. It's
yeah,
DLC.
it's DLC.
Yeah,
You have to pay extra.
It's because he got subbed in later. But
Just
it's
to
fine.
clarify for anyone who's wondering, no, it is a very different person to either the Portuguese or the Brazilian footballers. So it is someone separate. He's actually Romanian.
I mean, we didn't see. I don't know. I didn't see the
Could
picture.
be.
I don't actually know what it looks like. He could be.
We've been told he's Romanian, so he isn't either Portuguese.
They could tell us anything. We have no verification.
True, they do just whisper
It could
lies in
be
our
you.
ears. I've done it before. It
You
could
could be
me.
Ronaldo.
In fact, actually, I'm being signaled, guys. I've got to go.
All right, see you later, mate. Have a good
It's
game.
go time. It's game time.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm really excited to see how it goes because you got to look at how Fnatic are as a team. They're very good at scouting. The organization, as far as League of Legends goes, they're very good at scouting. I mean, Caps, Nemesis. I mean, Nemesis has been has Caps played competitively before.
Caps played competitive in, I believe it was in Turkey.
Yes, he did. Yes, so they're good at finding people from these kind
Broxer,
of smaller
Whippo.
regions. Broxer as well, Whippo. They're very good at scouting out these players. I mean, they signed Matcha Felix. I mean,
Yeah.
it's not really scouting with him, but
I
still.
will say it's a bit different because all of those had some sprinklings of competitive experience. Broxer even played in the UK.
Yep.
They were smaller sort of aspects and they did very much transform them into world-class players. But with Ronaldo, it is a bit different. He is sort of very fresh from solo queue. So much more untested, and this is a pretty hypey debut to make.
But potentially that solo queue element, that style, could be exactly what Fnatic Rising need to sort of throw a bit of a curveball at XL, where we know that these teams can go back and forth and they both can look very strong and take games off one another. So having that, as you say, wild card in the mid lane could definitely be the advantage they need if he is able to get those aggressive picks working in their favor and start snowballing over special in mid.
I mean, you throw a curveball at the curveball team. XL are the team who just throw everything everywhere.
Does that mean the ball just goes in a circle?
Yeah,
it's like one of those ones on a string on a pole.
Makes sense. And so we do go into draft phase. The Yasuo's banned away very quickly. So something we obviously saw the Yasuo and the Heimer banned away by almost every team facing XL. This may well be a similar situation. It just puts your team on such a back foot when you have two essentially dedicated bans. I will say, however, being on blue side, you are a bit more leniency to be able to just give away bans compared to M&M who on the red side.
Yeah, all right. Well, let's have a little look at what's been taken away. There's the Heimerdinger. There's the Nico. There's the Shen. Man,
that's something that I'd particularly been looking at is Fnatic being one of the only teams in the league who puts a lot of priority on Shen, and they picked it 4 times. Only one other team has picked it once. A lot of the times it's in the hands of Crossfair in the bottom lane, but that is definitely a ban that needs to be taken away because you do not want Special rolling out the Irelia red carpet for Ronaldo on his first game.
Absolutely. Would not be nice to put him in that situation. It also shows that Fnatic weren't willing to blind pick that first pick themselves. Things like the Lux is still available, although Nico has been taken with cards. But still, you know, Aatrox is a potential. There's a lot of power picks still open. Comes down to what Fnatic want to prioritize, but they got to remember anything they don't pick is open for XL to secure.
Alrighty, well, Fnatic Rising get first pick. What do they want to take away? What is open to them, really? As we look at the power picks, look what they want to be getting their hands on. It looks like they're just going for the Civ here, going back to what Xmadi knows best.
Yeah, I think it makes sense because we've seen a lot of Lux being picked very early on, but Crossfair is probably the only support in the league who hasn't played a ton of Lux because, as we said, he's been busy playing the Shen and then winning the tower with it, so he hasn't actually had to play all that many games. So.
He played a lot of it in week 1.
Yeah, he did, and he played
and
a
by
lot of
a lot of it, I mean, he played it once because they were defending.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And they lost.
I think he's played it twice so far in the league. But yeah, the Shen has been a higher priority for Fnatic. The Karma and the Jarvan are going to get picked up for XL here. Get himself some nice engage, some nice early pressure from that Jarvan.
Yeah, an interesting one. The Karma is obviously a great flex. The Jarvan is also effective against the Sivir as she has no mobility to be able to get away from the Cataclysm. If she's trapped in, unless she has a flash, she's going to be stuck there.
And this is the same draft, if that Karma does go towards Sendo in the top lane, that was on the side of Diabolus just a little bit earlier today, which they were actually taken down by M&M. So potentially a bit of mirroring there if things aren't able to quite go the way of the top lane.
Karma win rate is a
there
bit...
we go. Yeah, it's not
That
ideal.
ain't good. That ain't good. But we do see some of it is good. And it's Shikari back on the Kennen there. So nice for him, actually. Gets himself something that he can set up for the big team fights, the big engages. It's a lot of consistency. Ronaldo actually goes for the Corki. Fairly safe pick to pick up as your kind of debut pick. But, you know, you were telling me like the guy's a Talon one trick. I was so excited to see it.
Yeah, that's what I heard. I heard he was very aggressive. He likes to play aggressive picks. He's actually... This is a weird fact Crossfair gave me. He's one of the best Kindreds on the server when he plays at off-roll in jungle, despite being a mid laner. So some crazy facts. But what I find interesting is that Fnatic have cemented their lanes in these first 3 picks. You know it's going to be a Sivir bot lane, Corki mid, Cannon top. And compared to how much flexibility we saw from both these teams in weeks 1 and 2, it's a vastly different draft coming out. And I think a big part of that is all these picks that have been banned away that have allowed flexibility, like the Yasuo, the Aurelia, the Shen, the Nico. They are cutting down on the flexible picks.
The one thing that stands out to me so far in the picks that we have is that Kennen has been so impactful with finding flank plays, particularly on teams that like to be grouped together. For example, if you were to have something like a Karma with a lot of AoE shielding to keep your team nice and safe, if you are able to find a very good teleport flank, you can lock down so many members of the backline and allow just the pure damage to shred through from your hyper carries in the Sivir and the Corki towards the late stage of the game.
Absolutely, and we do see support bans coming in from XL, and this is an advantage they have because they have this Karma flex. They can always just give it to Sing. And Fnatic are in a position where they can't really just throw bans away at support because they know there's a fairly decent chance they could just put the Karma there, especially when it's a good lane with the Ezreal. So right now, they're instead deciding to target Special. They take that Zed away from him, which he did play into the Corki matchup, was quite successful. Then they take away that Gnar, which would be a pretty safe matchup into the Kennen. So now XL, they have to decide when their solo lane is, and If it goes with Twisted Fate, that is something that Special's very comfortable on, and it does mean that they still keep the Karma Flex a possibility.
Yeah, and it's a pretty good matchup into the Corki as well, because you can just shove in. Even if you're going for the AD build, you still have a lot of wave clear and sustained damage as well on the Twisted Fate, and it will be locked in. Now, something I'm looking for is Prosphere has played Pyke, and he had a pretty ridiculous game on it so far, so that could potentially be a bit of a curveball with a lot of all the support bans and the potential for a Karma being taken into the bot lane for XL.
That's the big thing. My one concern would be is if XL decided to go for something like the Fiddlesticks again.
Ooh.
And that is...
Okay.
That is a bit of a curveball,
Okay.
so it's something that can cause a lot of issues for the Twisted Fate. Not going to do as well on top of the Ezreal, but the engage range is just insane. And I look at Fnatic Rising, they have a great front line with a lot of CC. They have 2 massive backline carries. Now they're looking for, and it's going to be Prosphere going for that Rakan just to round out the team. So a bit of supportive capability with the shielding, but also able to follow up on that massive engage. And I look at the Twisted Fate and the Ezreal, and they're going to have a tough time surviving against that.
Yeah. And when I think back to Prosphere on Rakan as well, like before he started picking up the Pyke as kind of one of his go-to engages, it actually was rocking the Rakan for quite a long time as well. So it kind of suits his wheelhouse. Now we look towards what might be going top lane or might be going support for XL. That Jace is still open, but actually no, they're going to throw out a bit of a wild card, give Sendo the Camille to go top lane. He's going to be dealing into a range matchup with that melee, but if he can get on top of the Kennen, it's going to be a hard day for Shikari.
Seen a Camille in the mid lane already once, and that had a pretty great performance. But in the top lane, up against the range matchup, she is one of those melee champions that can stand up to it fairly well. Quite a bit of flexibility in your options for the Keystone as well. If you were looking to go for a little more of a lane-oriented build, it's not too uncommon to go for the Comet and maxing out the sweep, or you can still go for something like the Conqueror and just go for those extended trades.
Absolutely. I think the big thing for me is that I look at the bottom 4 picks from Fnatic and the bottom 4 picks from XL, and I absolutely just say that XL have the advantage in the mid game, but late game, the Corki Sivir with the Zac Rakan front line is just going to absolutely come out ahead. So I think for me, the Camille is sort of a late game win condition in terms of the split push, because especially since Shikari has almost exclusively gone AP Kennen for such a long time, you won't be able to handle the Camille in the side lane, and it means that you always have some sort of win condition. Even if the game gets to 30, 40 minutes, you're like, we can still win from Sendo applying side pressure.
Yeah, we know that the Kennen is probably going to be looking for the flank plays on the team fights, but with the lock-in of the Rakan and the Zac, they have a primary engage source or 2.
Yep.
So it can even just be Kennen just running along with the team and going for the death ball composition. So the Camille pick is actually a really good way to counter into that, because if he is going to be looking to play with the team and go for those huge team fight plays, we've seen Camille's in the past in professional play kind of end games by themselves while the rest of their team's dying on the other side of the map.
I mean,
I think I have a kill, Ross.
We saw LeBlanc end a game in the UKLC recently, so if LeBlanc can do it, a Camille certainly can. If the opportunity arises, I know that Sendo will look to end the game, and it means that, yes, there's great team fight in the later stages of Fnatic, but if XL manage to get a lead in this early to mid game, and then they give position for Sendo to apply pressure, the objectives, you know, the towers, the Nexus, it can get a bit tough.
Well, I mean, all to play for here. Obviously, XL want to get this win. They want to accelerate and slingshot their way ahead of Fnatic as we take to the Summoners Rift. Fnatic form a death ball. 4 members strong. We'll have to see whether or not Kasing is going to be able to not get caught. As the first Drake, it's spicy, it's warm, it's a fire Drake. Oh boy.
My goodness. So we might be seeing some early, potentially level 6 might be that key break point for the Fnatic squad, particularly looking at the power that they have in the 2 ultimates, particularly the Kennen and the Rakan, in terms of locking down multiple members of the XL slippery team comp.
And that's the big thing, and I would like to see Taxa apply early pressure top lane, because if you make Shikari use his TP, he's a big part of their level 6 power. If he's off the table, then I feel like the first dragon will be XL favored, because Ezreal has his mobility, TF has his ultimate to create flanks, and also his stone card, and then a Jarvan is a lot more useful at that point than a Zac would be.
And it's one of those, again, where it will all depend on who has the priority, who has the push in the lanes. Again, you'd expect it to be the Sivir, especially if it were to be into a melee matchup, but when you have the Karma as well as the Ezreal, there can be a bit more of up in the air, and it can be a lot more situational.
And we've seen Kasing very much in this Fiddlesticks look to pressure the lane phase and put a lot of poke damage onto the other team. Now he's gone for the Comet, and I think since it changes to increase the slow on Karma's Q, it makes it a lot more easy to land, and I think that he's going to look to apply as much pressure as possible in this lane 2v2.
Yeah, level 1 Karma is always a terrifying thing to be going up against. That is exactly why, as Matty takes a big chunk of damage from a single empowered Q from Kasing. Not going to be quite enough to force them all the way on the tower, but he's missing a couple of minions here and there already, so the pressure is already coming out in droves for the XL bottom lane.
That is one reason why I do like the Rakan compared to something like the Pike, is the fact that even if you aren't able to go in, and it's very difficult against the likes of an Ezreal, you can still use
I have to
Steel.
hold this. Axel's looking to find something onto Shikari, gets himself the Marshall stance off. That's the flag and drag dogged away, but the red buff and the tactical sweep forces Shikari to flash away. XL try for the play. Don't make it work.
We said we were looking for the teleport to be burned from Shikari, but the flash is equally as important on the Kennen if you are looking for those powerful plays in the mid.
And it looks like he is going to try and walk back. Oh no, he's just going to TP straight in. A very risky play to go for, because if Taxa waited around, he potentially could have just died. But now, teleport down, flash down. That's going to be a vulnerable top lane, and like we said, may not be able to assist in that dragon fight.
Gatling gun is like just such a horrible ability to play into. When Corki basically you stun him and he just keeps the Gatling gun going. It's the same with Zoe. You land the sleep and he's just like.
Do you remember when there was that bug where you could just always hear his Gatling gun?
Oh god, it was the worst.
It was so annoying.
Oh.
Was that the worst, or was that when Robot Amumu first came out with the global laugh?
That was before I started playing,
Oh,
so
man.
I don't have to deal with that. But I heard about how bad that was. But I think the Gatling gun was the worst.
Especially, I think it's Red Baron Corki. The noise is so loud and annoying. It's really irritating.
On the spectator, it literally, you could hear it no matter where you were, pretty much. It was awful. It was so bad. But Taxa, speaking of really bad, he wants to go into Shmack's Manny. Uses the knock-up for a Prospect. Bit of damage comes out. And actually, Fnatic continue the aggression.
Yeah, Hyonan has no mana.
Hyonan is low on mana. Prospect takes a lot of damage. You can see flashes forward. Finds first blood. Hyonan sticking down with the Ignite, but not enough to get the kill.
Oh, Prosper backing away with his head in his hands after that. Tried to go for the turnaround, and Hyonan is still incredibly low. But again, it's Taxa putting out the pressure in the early stages of the game. Turnaround not going in their favor, and it's the first blood onto Kasing.
Yeah, it was actually a really solid flash from Hyonan. Managed to evade the returning Boomerang Blade from Xmighty, and I think that was just enough to save him, especially as he doesn't have heal. Actually, to be honest, Kasing had heal available, so I think honestly they just baited Crossfire in and ended up getting that kill turnaround.
Just interested to see what the response to all this early game pressure from Taxa will be, because we haven't seen NG make any real sort of aggressive attempts in any lane, but this could certainly be one as he's clearing the Krugs on the top side.
I mean, he also took the chickens as well. NG just fully cleared out Taxa's most impactful camp. We had a little talk about this earlier, but now NG has to be careful because that hook shot, it's going to go wide. Sendo just yeets over the wall in the wrong direction, and NG will get out scot-free for that. In fact, he might look for a little bit more. Shikari trying to back him up. Meanwhile, in the mid lane, Special forced to flash away. Ronaldo unable to find that kill. Oh, Lord.
The supports roaming have had a lot of impact, especially today in day 2 here, and this
Might be the one.
no
NG
different.
gets knocked up. Hook shot. This time gets held by Sendo. He learned his lesson. Cell Division's going to be forced out. Shikari going to try and stun up. Buy some time. That's going to be the teleport coming in, and XL now need to run away. Cell Division and teleport forced. Not an overall bad loss for XL.
Yeah, XL definitely getting the advantage there, burning the Cell Division, NG's flash, and that teleport. And now, especially going to TP back mid. It was a good roam from Crossfire to force his summoners, but there's been so much back and forth, and we're only 5 minutes into the game. And yes, only 1 kill for XL, but you got to take stock of all these summoners that have been burned across the board.
We also got to look at the bottom lane. Xmatty, that we expected to be the one shoving in this bottom lane on the Sivir, is being kind of pushed into his own turret, and he's down a decent chunk of CS as well.
That it does come from the power of the Karma as well. When you've got Karma of Ezreal, she can kind of set him up just to easily Q the minions and kill out that backline. So he just does help with that shove a little bit for them. But
And the fact that Crossfire went for the roaming play towards the mid lane just lit up a bit of pressure for him.
and died as well. So there's a few things that lead to this. But XL, with the pressure they've been able to get in that bot lane, will pick themselves up their first Infernal.
Yeah, definitely
today.
one you want to be able to pick it up, especially when the scaling does go in favor of the Fnatic, at least for the team fight potential. Having that Infernal might make it take a bit longer before they feel comfortable to take those 5v5 team fights.
Matter with some really good spell shields though. Has constantly been blocking out these Essence Fluxes.
Gonna have to keep them on point towards the later stages of the game. It's not exactly as if any of the hard CC on the side of XL isn't very telegraphed. You have the gold cards from Twisted Fate, the lockdown from the Cataclysm, you can't really spell shield, and potentially the Hextech Ultimatum from Sendu, but
Oh, they're making the play here. That's going to be the ulti. Hextech Ultimatum to lock Shikari in place. He's still got that flash. The wild cards don't find their mark, and Shikari able to get out while holding that summoner spell.
It's actually just coming up now. It's hard to see the spectator. It just came up now. So that ult was actually perfectly timed from Special to capitalize just before the flash came up. Unfortunately, doesn't result in a kill, and Shikari just managed to survive, and now he has his flash available again, so next time that gank won't be as easy.
Well, Taxa does hold the weight for the moment. You can see Special just struts back into lane. God, that walk-in animation, so good. I think we talked about this last time as well. When you picked this, last time we saw this, yeah. We talked about his strut. Who has, like, good walk animation? That's what I want. Like, who do you think has a good walk animation, Sergeant?
I mean, are we talking... Sorry. Talking just about walk, or are we talking about, like, you know, when they speed out the base?
Oh, okay, that's two questions. But I'll ask for both. So who's your favorite speed animation? And who's your favorite, like, strut animation?
The speed animation's got to be Project Vayne, right? With the motorbike. That's pretty sick.
That's a pretty sick one.
I'm a big fan of, you know, like, the Aurelia, particularly Aviator Aurelia. I played that the other day when she, like, zooms out like she's flying a plane.
Yes.
On the
That's
blade.
literally my favorite skin in the game, so you lose this round, Saga. Who has the best walk animation?
I like Zyra's new one. Zyra's a champ that I mean, don't take this the wrong way, but I like looking at Zyra. It's a cool design.
It is a cool design. I mean,
Then the new walk.
you're a plant guy.
Exactly.
Do you have lots of plants at home? Do you have like a cactus?
I did have one at the old flat. We moved house recently, but we didn't
What
bring
happened to it? You just leave it.
We just
You
left
put it up for
and,
adoption?
It was pretty much dead already.
I know. Oh my lord! I
That's
know.
rough.
I know many plant people who would raise issue with that. Plant people are mad, man. They love their plants.
Yeah. Well, my walk animation would probably Rakan. He always does that strut thing where he's like, flick your tail.
You're gonna have to do that on camera. So good.
He's really lining up
It
the cosplays for finals.
actually
isn't he?
nailed it. He actually nailed it. Is the problem. Did you watch the finals of Forge where he was doing the house things? No, you didn't. You're shaking your head, terrified. It's only gonna say no, Jake. I didn't.
Oh, it's putting me on the spot like this. I have
Sorry.
a job. I work. Evening.
Yeah, we don't. We just talk in front of a camera.
Fill time and wait for people to start killing each other in
Well,
League
we
of
might
Legends.
have
Here
that
we go.
time now. That's going to be the gold card instantly into the tether. Special just farming impressions as NG gets knocked up and taken down. That's another kill for XL. True Shot Barrage just pops by to say hello, guys.
Not exactly the play that Fnatic were looking for, as the Cell division still was not up and available, and NG does have the extended range on the slingshot rather, but it just puts him in a bad position as the response is there from Kasing and Taxa to turn that play around. It's a second kill for Kasing, so maybe not exactly where the gold wants to be going, but still getting kills and shutting down the offensive plays from Fnatic, definitely all eggs in the XL.
Yeah, and I think just it was rough. He missed the slingshot, he then missed the stretching arms, and it kind of just leaves you in a situation where you're like, oh, I'm pretty doomed. And with the new ult as well, having reverted it, there's no way you can just ult and disengage from that situation. Once you're in, you are in, you've missed it, you're going down.
Yana does have his flash, does have his Arcane Shift, cheers. So he will just give over a plate, but not a kill, which is key.
It might be a very different situation if Crossfire had his ultimate, but the big thing is that he's basically left X-Mighty alone for such a long time, and the result of it is that X-Mighty is really far ahead in terms of XP. He's level 8 now, Jarnan's still level 7, but it has meant that Crossfire still doesn't have his ultimate available at this late point in the game.
Kasing's level 7 as well, to the level 5 of the Rakan, and imagine how much, maybe how different that team fight might have been if that quickness was available. If they were able to just land that little bit of CC from Zac, it could have been a much better outcome on the play from Fnatic, but just those tiny little things, it's a game of inches. So far, the inches are all on XL.
Absolutely. Ahead in gold, ahead with that Infernal Dragon, but Fnatic looking to equalize that one now. Package available for Naldo, and now the quickness is a possibility for Crossfire, so I think this one will go over Fnatic.
He didn't even hit the dragon.
It was a zoning ult.
We get it, Will. You're really good at tracking those global ultis.
Yeah, good
well
job.
done.
We see it missed everyone. Thank you.
Ooh. Ronaldo makes his way back in as Special actually maybe looking to get some plates. He's now got that Triforce, so he's going to do some serious tower damage here. That's going to be the charge over the wall, gifting some more plates to XL. And 3 plates are picked up in the mid lane. Ronaldo now is going to pick up the crowd, make sure that doesn't go down. Meanwhile, in the top lane, Sendo's taking plates. XL continue to grow their gold lead, 2,700 over Fnatic.
And that's the big thing about this mid lane matchup, is that the Corki will outscale. You know, his ability is going to come in really handy later. Although the Stone Card's great from Special, he's just not going to be as much of a late game, massive crit everyone, magic damage, kill them sort of carry. But because he has his passive, which gives ball generation, and he's running Kleptomancy, he is going to be ahead of the curve in terms of items, and you can see that already. Yes, he gets some extra plates from mid lane, but he already had his Triforce completed, and compared to Ronaldo, who's still got components, it is a pretty significant difference, especially when they're going to both be looking to join any team fight to kick off with their teleporter, in Special's case, with that ultimate.
Yeah, considering the fact that Ronaldo is ahead in CS, but Special still finishes the same item quicker, it just shows exactly how much value you get from the Twisted Fate passive as well of the loaded dice and the Kleptomancy. Similar story in the bottom lane as Hjarnan with the same Kleptomancy has the couple of items as well.
Uh-oh, XL looking to catch out onto Prosper. That's the gold card for Special. Prosper jumps over the wall. The true shot comes down.
That one hit.
Whoa!
That was a lot of damage. That really hit.
If you land the Essence Flux and then follow it up with a True Shot, it's just an insane amount of damage, especially on someone squishy like Prosper. Won't lead to anything more, but it shows you how much hit there is.
Destiny's available to Special. You can
side.
see they're going for it. The Hextech Ultimatum pins him in place. Goes golden for the gold card, but the flag, the drag, the knockup's available, and Sendo kills him with the hook shot.
Yeah,
Going under the tower as well is XL, and Shikari almost managed to buy enough time to get out of that. Prosper.
Prosper's down. Hjarnan gets that one.
No way for him to get out of that situation either. Fnatic, 2 more deaths on the board for them.
Yeah, and I think the big thing is because Taxa was there, it meant that Shikari just couldn't flash at any point because he knows as soon as he does, the Cataclysm goes down, so he chooses to save it. Ooh, that's close.
Yeah,
And Demolish means Sendo is getting a lot of plates as well. So he is farming gold. And XL have now got themselves a 4K gold lead over Fnatic. They're looking really, really good here.
It's a good thing that Sendo was getting the plates as early as he was because they have just fallen off, so that avenue of gold income is now closed without completely taking the towers. But just to go back on the Shikari saving flashpoint, we touched on earlier about just how important both of these summoner spells are for the Kennen, particularly when it comes to these potential engages around the Drake pit, which we might see very soon.
Yeah, absolutely. It is going to be a Cloud Dragon the next one, so maybe not as high a priority as that Infernal initially was. But I feel like if you get later and later, XL are going to want to stack up these dragons because it means, again, they have another late game win condition. If you stack up a bunch of elemental dragons, your Elder is much more impactful. And Mai is playing a dangerous game here, but it looks like NG being in the river offers him a bit of safety.
Yeah, Hjarnan was also fairly low as well, which meant he felt fairly comfortable as Prosper. Setting up a little bit of action here. Special has that gold card. NG's going to get caught. That flag and drag's available for Prosper. Forces the flash out of Special with the knock-up.
Just a bit of a scrap for vision control right now around the Dragon Pit, ready for that neutral objective to come back up.
That was a very respectful flash from Special because it was only NG in range, and I think that was him just thinking that there was more than just Prosper there. Maybe expected Ronaldo to be a bit closer, but very respectful from the former teammate of Prosper.
Oh, Hjarnan's taking a lot of damage. Xmatic with the boomerang blade doesn't quite get it, but Prosper slides in. Knocked up. The tower shots are going to be enough as Taxa gets himself the kill. XL do commit a couple of members. Sendo also teleported in. No more of a fight is going to break out. And looks like actually, Hikari also used his teleport.
Exactly sure what the end goal of that one was. He's just sitting in the pixel bush. He might be looking for Taxa to make a bit of an over-aggressive play.
That's going to be the knock-up onto in the flag, the drag to get Taxa out. As Shikari flashes forward, Taxa forced to flash as well. Fnatic do set up their Death Brush, but it didn't work.
Flashed forward to throw out that Shuriken, which would have been that final stack he needed for the stun on Taxa. So forcing the flash out of the Jarvan, definitely much needed to survive in that situation. But now is where the Drake will come up. But again, Shikari burns both of his summoner spells just before that all-important Drake fight.
Yeah, and it felt like it was just a desperation play. He'd already TP'd in, so he felt like he had to do something. And now, although both top laners without TP, XL can just send Special up there, and with the Destiny, he'll be able to join in. But instead, I think they're just going to pressure that top tower and give over the Cloud Dragon. for the first tower of the game.
Yeah, as Jake said before, it's not the highest of priority Drakes. It's certainly not an Infernal. So XL more than happy just to hand that one over.
Oh my
trade it out for some
lord.
towers.
Sendo does a lot of damage.
Yeah, but so does Matty, and they will get this tower. And they're having to back off right now, but no quickness means he should be quite
Towards the
safe.
mid lane as well. It's a second tower to go down as well for XL.
Shannon flashes away. So many respect flashes. NG comes in forward with the let's bounce. Remember, it got reworked as he bounces around the house. That's going to be Shikari locking Taxu in his own Cataclysm, but Special takes him down. The Cell division is killed, and XL find two. Sendo's coming in, gets himself an ulti onto Prosper. He's next to falling. Shannon gets a double kill. XL come up huge in the fight.
And taking both of the towers in the top and the mid lane as well, and then converting that into a turnaround on the attempted engage from Fnatic. Once again, it's their aggressive plays being punished.
And it just makes me question what they were going for. They didn't have their bot lane who were handling Sendo, and it was never going to be a favorable number matchup. They had to wait for Matty into Prosper to get there, and by that point, they'd already lost NG. Shikari was shortly to follow, and it just seemed like a forced engage. And honestly, the top side of the map from Fnatic has looked a bit shaky in this game. Shikari and NG both 0-2 and 0. Even so, Prosper's over-aggression has once again gotten punished for his fourth death.
Yeah, not only was the engage from NG a little bit questionable, but kind of the use of the AoE damaging ultimates from Shikari as well. Using that while he was locked down in the Cataclysm, was only ever hitting the Jarvan with it. Didn't want to hold on to that ultimate ability. He's been so good at holding on to his flash in the situations where he's in a spot of bother and might need it at a later time. So making a better decision to hold on to that to fight another day. But this time, not getting the maximum value out of that. Maybe if he was able to get himself out of the Cataclysm, he could have used that more defensively on the re-engage from Sendu. That's if he was able to get out of there. So maybe it was just the best he could do in a bad situation. And it will be back up again before there's really another chance of an engage. So maybe not as bad, but definitely not the optimal use of a potentially fight-turning ultimate.
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely a massively impactful ult, and I agree, not the most impactful use of it. 6,000 gold lead now for XL, which is really significant. However, he's seen engage come in.
Does get himself the magic shield, but still takes a pretty unhealthy trade as Shikari now with the Gunblade is able to sustain up, make this lane nice and comfortable for him.
Yeah, and we do see the goal difference there, and across the board there is just massive advantages for XL. In some areas it will be escalated by things like the Kleptomancy for Special Enchanted and the loaded die for the Twisted Fate, but that does not explain a 7,000 gold lead almost. And yes, we said that Fnatic's composition will outscale for the most part when they're team fighting, but when you have a goal differential this big, they're really going to struggle to hold on to things, especially as Baron is spawning in 10 seconds. And if XL pick that up, I don't think Fnatic have much of a hope of defending.
Yeah, as we said, Sendu will always be that sort of thorn in the side, just on the opposite side of the map to where his team is going to be playing around. And we saw that just before that little section right there of the game where he drew 3 members of the Fnatic squad down towards it while 3 members of XL were pushing down on the top side. They weren't able to convert it into a tower, but they did manage to steal away the blue buff and make sure, let's just look at all the vision that they have on that top side of the map. And as you just said, Baron is up and available. There is no possible way that Fnatic can get through the jungle to that Baron pit without being spotted a mile away.
Yeah, absolutely. But while they do try and move up to stop that vision control and get some for their own, it does leave their bot lane exposed, and Shikari is running down now to answer Sendo, but the tower is being taken. They're in a tower on the bot side, half HP already, and that's off the back of him taking the outer tower as well. So a lot of damage to those structures, and it shows how powerful this Camille can be at taking down these objectives.
That's without the Baron buff as well, so just imagine how much more difficult it will be with that on the side of XL.
Well, for the moment, they're just setting up the vision around that part of the map. There is a Scuttle Crab placed down by Fnatic for the moment, so we'll at least for XL getting complete dominance of that side of the map with vision. But bot lane is still a massive sore point from the top laners, with Sendo's just completely dominating Shikari. And we were talking about it post last game, how Sendo has really stepped up to the mark. He's really looking a lot better as a player currently. And Shikari, while he's definitely one of the top laners, one of the top laners we got in the UK scene, with a lot of titles on his back, a lot of history within the UK scene, Sendo is really putting his name forward to be the new UK top.
Yeah, absolutely. And the thing with Shikari is one of the big criticisms is he hasn't really been able to get a ton of pressure down when he needs to. He doesn't punish his opponents as much. And I think the issue now is because Taxus had such a great early game, and the one scaling element of XL was that top lane matchup where Shikari could have potentially established more pressure, he wasn't able to do more so, although I will give him the benefit that that was because of Taxus' ganks. So he hasn't had an easy laning phase. But as a result, Sendo is now in a really powerful position. But across the board, we look at these item differences, and in a lot of cases, mid and AD carry, it's 3 items to 2. And yes, those are really expensive items coming out from the Corki and Sivir, but still, right now, having a Wit's End, Rapid Fire, and Triforce, and the fully stacked Mirror Mana, the Ludens, and the Iceborne.
Oh, Sendo actually maybe getting caught out here by Shikari. He locks him down. Sendo's low. Hook shots over the wall, and Sendo makes a grand escape.
Managed to get himself out to safety. There was no member of Fnatic there to provide the backup and finish off that kill. Closest was Xmati clearing out the mid lane, but everyone else is dealing with that vision control that XL had on the top side of the map. They're clawing it back into their side, and it will be enough to get them off the Baron just for now.
That's a terrifyingly fast Baron by XL, though. Did you see how much damage they were able to do to that in such a short period of time?
Well, the big thing is they have a Jarvan who's going to be able to put down his flag and give attack speed to both the Twisted Fate and the Ezreal, who both have so much sustained damage. I mean, you have a Wit's End and your Rapid Fire and a Triforce, 3 attack speed items, and you have all that magic damage on hit. So Special will cut through that Baron buff, that Baron Nashor, and it'll be a really easy secure. And that's why I found like they were very on point with that Scrying Orb, but they have to consistently be throughout the game. And we saw a similar thing from XL's matches earlier on, where they were constantly going back and forth with the Baron buff and waiting for the opportunity to take it.
I'm glad our observer actually kind of roamed up the vision there just to show off what was going down, because the EXL clearing out this vision, Fnatic used all of their pink wards to slowly push the vision up. As we're seeing a double teleport come through, XL maybe in for a little bit of hurt here, but XL, they just walk away. They don't even need to use anything to get out.
Yeah, and it's 2 teleports from both Ronaldo and Matty, and they got the flash from Shikari. And in return, all they got was the Destiny, which is a much shorter cooldown. The XL are showing that Fnatic are very nervous about the potential of a play coming in, and they react in due course.
It was likely just a reaction to try and dissuade the tower dive onto Shikari, but it's an overreaction. It's 2 teleports, such long, impactful cooldowns on 2 of your key components of the team composition in the team fights around this part of the game. It's just making objectives so much easier for XL to take. They just back away, pick themselves up the Drake, and it's straight back to the top side in this vision war.
Yeah, absolutely. And when I look across the board of the items, if you look from lane to lane, there's still some expensive ones in the mid and AD carry. But my real concern, nice steal from Ronaldo. My real concern is look at the difference between someone like Special and NG or Prosper. NG has his jungle aim and then some components. And when you're dealing with 3 item carries, you're not a tank. You're just going to get absolutely blown up. And when you're playing things like this Zac and this Rakan, where you're so reliant on your engage, any misstep, any missed CC, and they will just blow you up in a matter of seconds. And that is the concerning thing for me.
And it's a similar story to like we were looking at with the Baron earlier, where they have the Jarvan dropping the flag potentially for the engage combo, but it's also passively giving attack speed to everyone around it. You're going to have that amplified as well as soon as Kasing finishes off. I'm assuming what will be the Ardent Sensor could potentially still be the Redemption though. But if it is the Ardent Sensor, you're getting that much extra value out of all the attack speed. So I think realistically that should be the item choice there, just to amplify all your team's damage even more.
I mean, look at how many resources are being funneled onto Kiana. He's picking up all the buffs on his side. He's getting all the gold. This guy, they want to make sure gets as many items as possible on him. I'm curious to see if he goes for the Gunblade as his next kind of big breakpoint item, so he gets some sustain in his kit. Typically, it's what we normally see with these Ezreals, who go into the more AP build.
Kind of the hybrid-y style.
Yeah, and I think the fact that they have a hybrid Twisted Fate as well, they have a really hard to itemize against damage profile, because there's a lot of magic damage, a lot of physical damage, and you are limited to what you can effectively buy into. So right now, it looks like NG is building towards that Knight's Vow. Gives armor and health, not too impactful against an Ezreal's ult.
Yeah, and one other key point of the itemization here is if you're looking at Shikari, looks as though he's looking to go for the full of completion on the Morellonomicon next. He's already burned through his stopwatch, so he won't have the Zhonya's for that extra survivability in fights.
Oh, NG tried to go for those stretching strikes, but a great flag and drag means that Taxa will not be getting caught, neither will Kasing. And in the meantime, Sendo is just quite happy pushing away on this bot side. Actually might go into Shikari. That's a massive trunk. Does get a lot of damage put back into him by Shikari, though. Got to be scared. That guy is doing a lot of damage with the Oblivion Orb. And as we pan over the Baron, we see a lot of vision. The Destiny's coming in. Pross there jumps onto Taxa, but he's just so tanky. Sendo launches into the fray with a Hextech Ultimatum to lock NG down. Special is trying to make his way into the fight as Kasing, Taxa, and Sendo are low HP. True shot, true shot, true shot. Not going to find anybody. Kjarnan can't smite that snipe.
If Shikari had teleported to the minion wave that was pushing onto XL's mid tower there, that could have potentially been, or the ward on that side, that could have been one of those Kakan Kennen moments where he turns the game on its head with an amazing flank, but instead he goes for the one in the jungle entrance. He has no flash available, can't get in range to close that gap. There was so many low health bars for XL there. That could have been so crucial for them.
I will say, though, that was XL's first big mistake of the game. It felt like Taxa just went completely overzealous under that tower, and then the rest of the team tried to follow up, and honestly, yes, they survived, but it's close for now.
Telephone here next. Manny might just be getting caught out here. Kjarnan goes forward. The Gunblade is enough to slow him down. That's a true shot to go. Coming forward is Shikari, gets a two-man slicing Maelstrom, locking them down, finding the shutdown. Fnatic get their opening back in, and NG now looking for Sendo, interrupts the hook shot, the knockup comes down, he uses the Hextech Ultimatum to flash away, but they stun him up, lock him down, and Ronaldo gets himself a kill. XL lose the fight, and Fnatic bites back.
That's the turnaround we wanted to see from XL 30 seconds ago. The last time XL tried to make that play, they started off with a pick on Matty, but this time, Shikari gets involved. Didn't even burn the flash this time. That's the slicing Maelstrom they were looking for, getting himself the double and chasing down Sendo.
Yeah, and it just looks like XL are trying to force again and again. They realize there's some element of time into this game, and they're not respecting Fnatic's re-engage. When you go that deep against a Kennen, against a Zac, it's so easy for them to find flanks, find opportunities to get on your squishier members, and you've essentially just injected a ton of gold into Fnatic, because now you look at the likes of Ronaldo, he has a whole nother item from when we last talked about these breakpoints. We now have the finished rapid-fire cannon from Matty. And yes, we do see the Gunblade coming out from Kjarnan, but those are items that, although they're great in the mid-game, they will start to tailor off later on. And these crit builds coming out from Fnatic, they're just going to just keep getting stronger.
It's still hurt at the moment, though.
Yeah, by all means.
Well, that Cloud Drake is up, and it looks like XL want to get their hands onto that objective. Equalize out with what Fnatic have as Drakes, and then add the fact they've got the Infernal on top. So they will be able to pick this up, and Fnatic unable to answer out. The pings are going down at Baron for Fnatic. They have the vision to make this work, and it looks like they may just try to start this up right here, right now.
Corki's moving super fast. I'm assuming he's got the package on top of him, so he can just get involved in this fight.
Special might be in trouble. Gets that gold card, uses the Destiny. He fails the flash into the wall, and Shikari shuts him down.
That is a 50-second death timer. It's 30 minutes into the game. What a huge pick to find.
Sendo in the bot lane. He's looking to go for this. We have a fight on all fronts now. XL has to get some damage. NG gets chunked out. The Baron is shredding through the magic resist. The turret goes down. Ooh. The true shot forces out the cell division. Taxa is trying to find his way in. Look at Shikari. That slicing Maelstrom is going to be available. Taxa jumps in, slams, bams, wired, and Ninja's down. But they're trying to get up to Kjarnan. He's down. A double kill for Ronaldo. Baron is secured by Fnatic, and Sendo somehow has to try and end the game, but everybody from Fnatic is running towards him. XL, 3 major mistakes in a row, may have just thrown this game out the window.
How did NG stay alive that long after he got the cell division? He's healing for so damn much. He had to burn his smite onto the Baron to get a burst of health to live through Taxa's damage. But from there, it was just constantly picking up blobs and healing himself back up. So he survives that extra bit of time, and it's Taxa who looked as though he was getting the better of that jungle matchup and would be able to steal the Baron. But instead, it's Fnatic who picked that up.
Just want to talk about a potentially very scary situation, but we'll watch the replay first.
Yeah, so the big thing is here is that they don't opt to bring Sendo in. They look for the inhibitor in the split play, and that might have been the failing here because they try and take NG out and they force him in the cell division, but they can't get enough damage, and then here Taxa looks to execute him before he revives. but he stays alive. The smite heal is huge,
how
the
much he
ult to knock
heals
up.
here.
And then here's the big thing, his Taxa uses a stone plate, so he's dealing reduced damage, no way to take him out, and the rest of his team clean up. And the difference is, maybe if Sendo had chosen to come in, they would have won that fight and got the Baron. They go for the split pain, yeah, sure. They get that bot lane inhibitor, but they lost so much in return, and that massive gold lead we saw that was 7,000 at one point is now only 2,000, and Fnatic are looking to close
Look
it.
at the pings. Look at that ward. 2 teleports available currently to XL. If XL can somehow just thwart the engage, thwart the shove from Fnatic, there's always that backdoor availability, and Fnatic are fully aware of this. They know there's a Destiny, there's no loads of teleports available to XL. They don't want to risk it, so they go into the bot lane, they go to clear out this vision, and that's Destiny being used by Special. I think it's just to scare them.
Yeah, I think just getting some vision, being aware of where people can collapse on him. But the big thing is, Fnatic have the Baron buff. You want to be going aggressive, getting objectives, but because of this 1-3-1 pressure, they are just tied to their lanes. They wanted to push up mid and start knocking on the base of XL, but instead they're just on wave clear duty, which is not what you want to be doing when you've taken that Baron buff.
There was potential there with the Destiny being down. NG was making his way towards the bottom lane, just clearing out some wards, maybe going to try and capitalize on the isolated player who didn't have his escape route available. When the pings came out, they'd spotted him, and it will just be backing off. And now we're back into that incredibly frustrating scenario to play against, where you have to deal with both side lanes at once, plus a pushing down team in the mid lane.
I think that's the one thing we do have to keep in mind is while Fnatic have the better team fight as this game goes later and later, XL still have an insane split push. Camille at all points in the game, especially as it gets later, is very good in the side lane. When you back that up with the fact that there's going to be a Destiny available on the TF with a teleport, the global pressure that XL have is really scary for Fnatic. So they need to look for these fights. And XL, they need to learn maybe not just to continuously go and force these engages onto Fnatic because they have the better team fighting comp.
Yeah, and I think that was some overzealous moments in the mid game. It has made this game a bit more stable and slow, but XL still have the gold lead, and because of this split pressure, they still have control of the game. So now they've kept Fnatic tied up in these side lanes, and they're now going to look to re-establish control for when these next objectives start to spawn.
It hasn't been the most high-octane game that we've had so far today, but Ronaldo is definitely fitting into this game relatively well, sitting at 3-0 on 1. Very good CS numbers alongside both AD carries and the Twisted Fate as well. So he's definitely not feeling out of his element just yet. There has been a lot of pressure put on the entirety of the Fnatic team, but it's been focused more towards Shikari on the top side. So he's just been able to scale up, and he's almost at that very comfortable position of 4 items on both the Corki and the Sivir. And that is, as we know, when the Sivir comes online, 400 CS power spike. It's very close.
Yeah, very close indeed, and that's the point where their damage will just be unstoppable. There's no one really on the side of XL who can sustain them through that for the long time. Even Taxa gets cut down pretty quickly, and now Engage comes in.
NG jumps in onto Sendo, the hook shot to turn it back around into the gold card. Prospect slices through everybody as Fnatic are still low on HP, but the damage has arrived, and XL are melting to Shikari, are melting to X-Matty. It's one quick kill picked up for Fnatic, and XL have to step away.
XL are forced to scatter out into the jungle after that. A nice teleport from Shikari, but once again not able to land the slicing maelstrom to secure any more kills than just the one.
And that's the big thing, is that Fnatic can't really get much from this. They're just going to clear out the waves, maybe look towards that Cloud Dragon, but in fact, John is going to stop it himself. And yes, they killed Taxa, but they lost Shikari's TP. And when that Baron comes up, it's going to really hurt not to have that summoner available, because who's going to be answering this side lane pressure? I don't think that Ronaldo and Maddie really want to be stuck in a side lane 1v1 against Special Ascendo. Shikari was the one who they consistently sent there, and he's now no longer going to have that option.
Yeah, it's going to have to be Ronaldo going towards the bottom lane, and there's already pings that have just come out onto the inhibitor. And if Sendo makes his way back down there, Camille can completely blow him up.
And that Death Dance as well means it's nice and easy for him to do that, as we have a quick what's going on Harry's computer, but it's fine. Alrighty. Well, I want to talk a little bit about the vision, because XL had incredible vision control at the last Baron, and then they kind of let it go, took some forced fights, and then lost Baron because of it. Now they're stepping up. We start to look at the inventories. Fnatic struggling in the control ward department so far, as now they're buying those items.
We have seen the 4-item spikes come out from both those AD carries, but the big thing to look at is we see both Sendo and Special looking for Ronaldo. If they use the Hextech ultimatum, there's no way he gets out even with the Valkyrie, and they will take him down. But in response, Xmati sniffs this one out, and he heads down to back him up, because it would then be a 2v2. All 4 members of Teleport, so you're not going to be able to make this play, at least not easily.
Yeah, now that the Baron is back up and available, just dragging all the resources really from both teams towards the bottom side means that it's not going to be quick if either team does opt to go for the Baron and the 3v3, and it's not really going to be the ideal scenario because Kennen, Rakan, and Zac can turn that around quick.
Oh, Xmati actually gets chunked. That's going to be the ulti down. Sendo goes 1v2, but the damage by Ronaldo is just too much to deal with. The teleport's coming out by Xmati, and XL are onto the Baron. They are thwarted. They are sent packing. XL go greedy for the play, and it bites them in the bum.
Ronaldo teleported a little bit further away, so had XL tried to retreat up towards their top lane, could have potentially run face first into the Corki, but they kite backwards, and once again, it's pushing in the mid lane.
Special's running down the mid lane at the moment. Taxa maybe sees if he can find some kind of opening, some kind of big opportunity. 4k HP onto this Baron Nashor. That's going to be Prosper over the wall. In comes Shikari to lock them down. The Cataclysm's big. The Baron is picked up. Taxa makes his way out, but look at the mid lane. Special is taking out inhibitors. True Shot barrages will not be cancelling any bases today, and Fnatic are running towards Special. He has flash, he has teleport, and he has the ability to escape, but once again Fnatic pick up Baron, but they lose objectives. Special has to flash away. In comes Ronaldo. That's going to be the blast cone respawning in time, but Special is taken down. Xmati gets the shutdown, and now they are down a member for 1 minute.
Yeah, but pings come out in the bot lane, and you can see Sendo might look for a backdoor potential. It's 4v5 on the map. Bexel have some tricks up their sleeve.
This might be dangerous. NG jumps in, misses out on those stretching strikes. As the flag and drag by Tax is there. Look at the Camille. Sendo knows they can't fight. They can't go toe-to-toe, so they just have to play wave clear. They just have to play annoyance, as he's going to try and push in this wave. Shikari joining the rest of his team down the mid lane. The Fnatic Death Bowl is walking up this mid lane. They want to go for the objective. The True Shot does absolutely diddly squat to the minion wave. That's going to be the mid lane inhibitor going down. NG comes over the wall. XL are looking for the base race. They're going for it. They have to work through these super minions. He has a few minions in that bot lane to work with. He's trying to keep them alive as Taxa is playing annoyance. The teleport's coming in. It looks like they're going for it. Fnatic are racing for the base here. There's going to be a lot of damage. They lose this. What were XL doing? They threw the game right out of the window, and Fnatic defend the tower.
There was still 10 seconds left on X Special's respawn, so there wasn't going to be enough time for him to get up and defend, so they tried to go for the desperation Hail Mary play, but it just left the entire team of Fnatic able to just shred through those turrets with the double late game scaling carries. They did not last at all.
Desperate was the word. XL looked so desperate. They were winning the game, then they realized, oh, we're on a timer, tried to force plays, and that forced errors. We know Fnatic are one of the best teams in the UK scene for punishing people who make desperation plays, for making just these stupid little misplays, and it cost them heavily.
Yeah, and it just felt like consistently XL were like, oh no, we need to do something. We need to force an Xmati. It didn't work, but they just got away. Then they force again, and it falls apart. We saw Sendo trying to force 1v2 against Xmati, and in theory, it looked close. His health bar dropped, but he had stopwatch, and so did Ronaldo. That was never going to happen, and I think it nailed it. It was a desperation play from XL. They had a great early game, but they realized they weren't going to win this if it went super late, and they end up just throwing the game away, going for a backdoor attempt, but gotta give it to Fnatic. They really held their mental together, especially considering they have a new mid laner in. First competitive experience, and he did pretty damn good.
Do you know what's really bad about this?
Predictions.
I think that means the guest overtakes me.
Guests?
Does that mean you tie with me?
I tie with you, yeah.
Someone say double digits.
I said that you wouldn't be first place after this week. I'd tie with you. You get caught on.
I mean, I still had a better start, right? Like,
Here's the thing, though. We do have a new guest next week who may throw your lead away. So.
I'm fully expecting 0 points next week.
We'll have to see.
that's rough, buddy. I mean, that game was rough, buddy. That was... XL had a 7k gold lead. No, they didn't. It wasn't that big, but they had a big gold lead.
it was.
It was like
I think it
5
was.
or 6, wasn't it?
It was 6 or 7. It was big.
And then they just went, you know what? Out the window. I mean, if you look at Sendo's hook shot onto NG in the early game, that was basically what happened with the gold lead and the lead of the game by XL.
Yeah.
It just goes right past the mark, and then NG just walks away and gets out with
This
it.
almost felt like a little bit of like season 3-4 Fnatic, where they were like, okay, we'll let you guys win for 20 minutes and then we'll practice playing from behind. Because I'm assuming if these guys are looking like top 2, playing in scrims, they probably don't get that much practice of playing from behind because they'll probably roll over most teams in scrims.
You say that, but
Yeah.
I spoke to Prosper and he said that scrims with Ronaldo had been going a bit rough. They were struggling. And I think that he wasn't too sure of their chances going up against XL because of these changes.
So maybe the scrims were
Maybe
the practice they
yeah,
needed
exactly.
to play
They
from
practiced playing from
Goes
behind.
both ways.
They nailed it. So good job. It worked perfectly. All planned.
If there's one thing I've learned from all my years of casting, scrims mean absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
They literally mean nothing. They mean something to the players and the teams, but for us going, how's scrims going? They're like, well, you know, we've been trying Zoe top lane. It's not been working. Press the attack. They just do whatever in scrims. And also because people like, I mean, you've got a lot of scrimming experience. So you know people basically after 15 minutes go, okay, game's done. Let's go, next one.
No, you think 15 minutes? It's like
It's
an
15
invade.
seconds.
You have an invade, right? 2 people die, and they go, okay, let's do next game. They're just like, it's done. It's like,
Yeah,
not really how
I
it
think
goes.
we've had
in
a couple
competitive.
of games like that this week that would have just been like, all right, let's remake
Let's
this.
be real. We're going ahead. There's no point playing. The game's done.
Thankfully, the final wasn't one.
That M&M game actually might have also been one of those, but they pulled it back. But with that, I'm a little less talking about scrims and have a little bit more of a talk with Prosper, the support for Fnatic. We got an interview with him coming up. And Prosper, how are you doing, mate?
I don't know. We just played like an NA LCS team.
I mean, we made the jokes earlier. How does it feel to kind of be the first team, first of all, to hold the tower versus XL? I mean, every other week we've had a tower kind of being handed over between you and XL. But like that looked like you were going to lose your tower, and then you were able to bounce back. How does that feel to kind of get that bounce back from like a 7K deficit?
I mean, honestly, it doesn't feel that good for me because I played really badly this game. So honestly, holding the tower, I don't care because we didn't play particularly well. And I'd rather we showed improvement over the weeks as a team than just held the tower. I'd rather we improved week on week and lost the tower to an XL that's playing well than win because XL literally don't do anything for 10 minutes and they just oink around Baron.
I mean,
You're not wrong.
we all said it. We all said it. They just kind of forced it Baron and it didn't work.
What were the comms like in that game? Because obviously they got a significant lead. Then there was a lot of confusion around, the split push attempts, potentially Sendo going to backdoor. Was there some concern and constant sort of reminding that, oh, they have a Camille, they have a TF, they're going to look for the backdoor?
Not really. The comms were more like we kept forcing in the early game and we were just trolling and inting, kept dying. And then there was the one engage on mid and NG just said like, okay, they're really bad, so we'll just scale because they don't know how to end the game and we don't need to try and do anything and everything we try and do is it's not working. So he was just like, I'm not trying to engage, we just need to wait for our item spikes because our champs scale really well and we'll clear waves. And then we literally AFK'd for like 15 minutes, just stopped them getting the Nasher, and then we won. That was like pretty much it. We were just saying like, oh, we're on 3 items, guys. Oh, we're on 4 items. Okay, they're team fighting. They can't team fight. Okay, we outscale them. So the more longer it goes, the better it gets. Like it just kept getting. Once we got the first Nasher, we knew like we could just keep AFKing for another 10 minutes, then it would only get better. So
I want to ask, is Shikari wearing a shirt this week? Because last week I know he wasn't wearing a shirt because you forgot yours. Is he wearing a shirt this week?
no, what? I don't even know what you're talking about.
I was lied to. I was lied to by our guy in the back room who tells me this stuff, but it doesn't matter. Congratulations on your win. It was a struggle, but we'll see you next week. So Prospect, congratulations, and we'll see you next week.
Yeah, thanks very much.
I was lied to. I was told Shikari.
You want to
was
see
wearing-
Shikari topless?
Yeah, of course I do.
Oh yeah, I wouldn't call
don't even pretend.
Is this?
You don't even know what's going on, do
Maybe
you?
you dreamt about him topless.
All right. Well, our MVP for that was obviously the Fnatic rookie in Ronaldo. Guy stepped up really big on the Corki in this game. 5-0 and 4. 10.67 CS per minute.
Expression, he's like a stone cold killer.
They still haven't unlocked him yet, and he does have a very similar shape to Special. I have noticed that. So maybe similar build. What can we say?
Athletic.
Yeah, athletic.
Top esports athlete.
Yeah.
Well, let's have a little bring up of the bracket so we can see exactly how everything shaped out at the end of this week. Obviously, XL able to climb to the top of the tower, but Fnatic stopped them in their path. And we have our first defense, which this does mean is next Wednesday. We'll actually be starting with 5 games next week, which is going to be really nice. Extra game next Wednesday.
Yeah, it's like buy 4, get 1 free.
Have a little look at the predictions. I don't want to bring the predictions up, but oh god, look at that double grin.
Look at them double digits. Double guess.
To be fair,
2 digits.
Twitter is actually inting right now.
And I will be fair that you did pretty good this week, but Chronicler hard carried you to that first place spot. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, you dropped.
You got 4 this week.
4. Oh, sorry,
I got
I'm
4
looking
this
at me.
week.
I'm looking at me. Well, look where we are. Look what's magically appeared. We're here at the draw show. So, what's going to be happening is we're going to be finding out who is going to be playing who next Wednesday and how our bracket is going to be shaping out. So, we can't have XL versus Enclave. We can't have Diabolus versus Demise. We can't have Phelan versus Barrage. We can't have Envision versus Eminem. Now, Saga, as you are our honored guest, I'll let you get the first draw. So, this is going to be blue side for game 1, then blue side for game 2, then blue side for game 3, and then blue side for game 4.
You know,
So,
I'll be honest, I've been looking at these all day, just savoring.
they're actually a little bit more awkward to draw. I like to kind of open.
Oh, God.
Did you get a rough one?
Now you tell me that.
Oh, you got a rough one. You got to give it a squeeze. Just give it. There you go.
There we go.
You
Popping
All
it
right.
open, it's our boys Diabolus.
It's going to be Diabolus as our first team on that blue side. There you go. I mean, he's just taking my part of the job, but that's fine.
You're standing in front of it anyway, they can't see.
Yeah, I am actually a little bit off. All right, let's see what Dan is going to be pulling out. You just lob it on the floor, mate. Don't worry. This is going to be blue side for game 2.
And it is your marshmallows, Eminem.
Eminem. All right, so Eminem will be on that blue side for game 2.
So once again, potentially to have Diabolus versus Eminem in the semifinals.
All right, well, go do me blue side at game 3. Step over a bit.
Barrage.
Alrighty.
Here you go. I'll let you do your job
Thank
this
you.
time.
This is
Just like we've been letting
This is
Lee
all I
do his
have in
job.
this show. That's all I have in this show. There we go. All right. So blue side for game 4. Box. You make this a lot more painful than it has to be. I'm hungry, man.
It is Elon.
I like the eyebrows there. Fan of that.
I have to, whenever there's
Yep.
a close-up, I have to just prove that I have them because, I mean, look.
It's a light color. They're hard to
Oh
see.
wow.
Yeah, right?
I didn't notice that.
Yeah.
Orcs' glasses block his out. There you go.
Maybe,
He
I
has
should, maybe I
eyebrows.
should borrow them and I can actually pretend that I have some, like, visible to the naked eye.
Go on then, we're doing red side, like your fiery orange hair. Let's go. I warned you that this just evolved into an absolute mess. I don't know why. I don't know how us opening some balls up and putting them on a board turns into this much of a mess, but
Because
it
we're
does.
children. We're literally
We've got an
children.
Enclave.
All right,
Game
so
number 1.
Diabolus versus Enclave now.
Have had that matchup before, but not last week, so we are safe for it.
Yep. I do think that Enclave looked a little bit better this week than they did previously when they've last played Diabolus, but also Diabolus are looking pretty stellar themselves, so... Eminem. This can't be Envision.
And
It's
it is Envision. So
this goes to game 3.
Envision! They go to game 3, so they skip game 2. We aren't rigging things.
Ooh. This
If we-
means Envision versus Barrage, so it's another 0 point versus 0
It's a
point game
guaranteed
on game
first
3.
win.
So at least one of these teams is going to get their first win. If Envision play like they did versus Eminem, this is their game. 100% this is their game.
Yeah.
All right. Do me the honors of game 2 red side.
We're looking for Demise, potentially XL. We got.
Actually, yeah. So there's actually no way to get a weird typing here. You draw 2.
Yeah,
It's
it
whoever
is.
loses.
The
game
reason
1
it's
next
2,
week.
yeah, whoever loses game 1 next week will take this spot. So
Right,
I guess we
Just put them
double
both
stick them.
there. Yeah, put them both there.
Oh, they don't have tape on. So.
Okay.
I'll them.
There we
there.
go. Why haven't they put tape on them? All right, well, Orcs, you might as well do
Play
game
Will.
4 red side. This is going to be versus Phelan. We know who this is.
Yes, it's going to be that team whose name I
Demise.
absolutely know, and that's Demise.
There you go. So game 4 will be Phelan versus Demise. Actually pretty stoked to see this game because I think Demise have been on form. This does put them on the same side of the bracket as
Wait.
Barrage, Envision, Feeling, and Demise.
Zoom
This
in on
side
it
is
again.
okay.
Just have to hold them in.
There you go. Apparently there's tape next to me.
It's on the box below the bowl.
I'm getting literally directions on where it is. I don't...
On the box below the bowl, dude.
Below the bowl,
On the
there-
wooden box.
there is literally no tape there, my dude, but that's fine.
Yeah, this is
we get
how
the
it would
point.
be. You know,
There you go.
I'm just gonna hold.
Orcs is going to
one of the
hold it
two.
for you there.
I'm gonna hold it for the rest of the stream.
There you go. Alrighty, so what this does mean is quite exciting actually, because we have game 3 and game 4 will be leading
Oh
into
my
that side of the bracket. We are slowly spinning this board. Orcs, I know you're itching to rugby tackle it, but
I
not
am.
today. Not today. Barrage versus Envision, Villain versus Demise. We're actually going to have a team who make it all the way to finals from this side of the bracket. What are you doing? There you go.
There we go.
There we go.
Much
You
easier.
can see my sunburn on the close-ups. This was a bad idea. There we are.
But guaranteed a first point in game number 3 for one of
Yep.
the two teams, and guaranteed a finalist. The side of the bracket is looking very, very deadly, though.
Well, we will be putting up our unsung hero over on our Twitter at LVPUKLOL. LVPUK, I don't know why I'm doing that. There you go. Nice to see Prosper, because
Yeah, Prospect does play for Fnatic Rising. If you did forget last game.
It's potentially a team we might see in game 2, or they might have to wait till finals again.
yeah, you never know. Now, with that, we will obviously have our unsung hero going up on this, and make sure you do get involved. Use that hashtag UKLC. Be asking you guys at home for who you think your unsung hero is, and remember the finals on the 1st of September will be at Twickenham Stadium, where we'll be having ourselves our giveaway competition over on Twitter, where you can get yourself in that. So make sure you follow and retweet the tweets for the competition post, and you can get in with a chance to win 2 tickets for you and a mate. Make sure you do get all those stages
Yeah.
done.
Who doesn't like free stuff? It sounded like
doesn't?
Prosper likes his free stuff, like free wins against XL.
Jesus.
That is exactly what he said. Paraphrasing a little bit, that is what he
AFK.
said.
And if somehow you've missed all this madness, you've just tuned in, make sure you go over to the YouTube channel LVP UK Law to catch up on all the previous VODs and videos and see that potential apparently free win versus XL. I don't think it was quite free.
They said they were AFK. How much more free can you
It
get?
did sound pretty free.
Yeah, I mean, Prosper's being toxic,
All
right?
I'm going to say is that XL will be seeing this and they will be even angrier
Next
now.
week.
They can just take it out on them. First game next
Literally,
week.
game 1 next Wednesday is going to be a tower rematch. Fnatic, yes, they've held on to the tower, but that doesn't mean they actually will hold it for the week.
Yep.
There is a chance for XL to get it back off them, and if they can do that, that is going to be such a strong start for XL. Deny Fnatic, put themselves at the top of the tower, deny any more games for them to play until that finals.
And the big thing is that XL are still leading in points at this point in time.
Yes.
Yeah, they are
You are
still
correct.
leading in points at this point in time.
1 point.
So if they manage to win against Fnatic, they will be on top and establish that. If Fnatic manage to defend, then it could go in a different direction. But that means there's still a lot to play for in that first game next week.
Early doors in the season, a lot could still change. Still waiting on a few teams to pick up their first points, and we're guaranteed some next week, so it's going to be good games.
I mean, it's all going to be played for because we hit that half-point mark in the tournament for week 4. This is when things get serious for these teams. This is when you're the likes of Barrage and Envision. You really, really need to put your foot on the gas. And you've just got the best bracket you could possibly dream of to get a good run towards at least finals and get some points.
I kind of
It's
wish I
all
hadn't
to
thrown it
play
away
for.
now because I'm trying to remember.
I don't know why you yeeted it. But guys, thank you very much for joining us here at week 3 of the UKLC. We'll be back Wednesday at 6 o'clock for the start of week 3. We'll be kicking it off with a tower rematch between Fnatic Rising and XL. So until then, thank you to our guest Saga and Greyheart yesterday. Thank you for watching at home, and we'll see you later.
See ya.